Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Rupal Hollenbeck, President at Checkpoint Technologies, to discuss why there's a spike in attacks on IoT device networks and what leaders, IT leaders, and consumers can do about it. Rupal, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks, Jill. It's great to be here.
You got it. Recent data from Checkpoint indicates a spike in attacks on IoT device networks. What is behind it?
That's absolutely right. Jill, 54% of organizations, according to our research, are suffering from cyber attacks caused through IoT devices every week. So here's the thing. First of all, the IoT threat landscape is ever expanding. If you think about everything from digital cameras to doorbells to appliances and digital assistants, we are increasingly connected. Second, post-pandemic, there's this huge spike in the hybrid and the remote workforce, and that's just a reality. While industries are going through a pretty significant digital transformation, meanwhile, most IoT devices are actually not secure by design. They're traditional devices that have been in our lives for years. And so they're quite vulnerable and give access to the bad actors to both our personal and our professional lives.
The data also indicates IoT attacks are up 41% from last year. What are some factors contributing to this increase?
Well, it is the fact that we have a lot of legacy infrastructure among digital devices, and this is actually pairing with the new digital transformation. Now let's apply this to industries. If you think about industries that really focus on citizen services and have access to a lot of personal information, you're talking about industries like education and healthcare, where there is a whole bunch of very personal information on our private lives that is shared broadly inside of organizations. Keeping that secure is really important, and they present a lot of vulnerabilities for the bad actors to exploit.
How are cyber criminals targeting these devices?
Well, first of all, we have to keep in mind that IoT devices are really nothing more, nothing less than an extension of an organization's corporate network, but they're also the most vulnerable. And so bad actors are really starting with those devices that are the least secured, that are the most connected, but not built by design for security. And they're entering in through schools, they're entering in through hospitals and healthcare centers. Think about all those MRI devices out there. Think about all of those other devices used in the medical industry. These are not built secure by design, but increasingly need to be.
What do businesses need to consider before integrating IoT technology into their systems?
Well, we think about cybersecurity across three super important vectors. The first is you need to have a comprehensive cybersecurity solution. So, as I said, IoT devices are simply an extension of a company's network. So when you're thinking about cybersecurity for your organization, you have to think about IoT devices as well. So comprehensive is really rule number one. Rule number two is consolidation, making sure that your solutions are actually working across the entire landscape and all bad actors through different entry points. And then the last part is collaboration. If a bad actor is trying to enter your network through one IoT device and gets blocked, well, that's great. But what about all the other ones? So collaboration and communication across these IoT devices is super important. And the work that we do with brands around the world, like Clark's, like Thomson Reuters, and like Hallmark, is really thinking about this comprehensive, consolidated, and collaborative framework for cybersecurity. And organizations really need to keep that in mind to build the best cyber resilience plans.
And you had mentioned healthcare and education, of course, the two most vulnerable populations. How can consumers protect themselves?
Well, first of all, when you're out there looking for your next IoT device, whether it's a smart doorbell, whether it's a digital assistant, think about security first. Think about it at point of purchase, not as a layer on top of the purchase. That's the first thing you can do, is really source your IoT devices with security in mind first. Understand how it's secure, understand how it communicates with other devices in your network, and what happens when and if a bad actor gets through.
All right, Rupal, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.